Success, a word loaded with dreams, expectations, and illusions. Everyone talks about it. Everyone claims to chase it. But how many people ever stop to ask, what is success really? Is success the size of your bank account? The number of followers on your profile? The title you carry at work? Or is success something far quieter, far deeper? Something that cannot be measured by the applause of others? For centuries, philosophers wrestled with this very question. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all lived in worlds filled with wealth, power, danger, and fame. And yet, they taught a truth that still cuts through the noise today. Success is not about what you own or achieve, but about who you become in the process. Before we go deeper, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. We've been growing steadily here, together, and I want to welcome all of our newest subscribers to this community. Right now, we're close to reaching our very first milestone, 50 subscribers. It might not sound like much to some, but to us, it means everything. It means people are listening, reflecting, and walking this path of wisdom together. So if you've joined recently, thank you. You are part of something meaningful here. Now, let's step back into the bigger picture. What does it mean to be successful? History gives us countless examples of men and women who achieved what most would call success, only to end their lives in emptiness. Alexander the Great, who conquered empires before turning 30, famously wept when there were no more worlds left to conquer. Why? Because even after having everything, he felt he had nothing. On the other hand, Epictetus, born into slavery, crippled by a master's cruelty, died with peace in his heart, leaving behind teachings that continue to shape millions of lives centuries later. Who then was more successful? The conqueror who died unsatisfied, or the slave who found inner freedom? Success, the Stoics tell us, is not about external circumstances. It is about internal mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Yet how many of us believe this? How many chase the shadows of success? More money, more fame, more recognition, while neglecting the only thing truly in our control, the mind? Modern psychology agrees. The concept of the hedonic treadmill shows that once our basic needs are met, additional wealth or possessions bring only temporary happiness before we return to a baseline state. Studies from Princeton and Harvard have shown that after about $75,000 in annual income, the correlation between money and happiness flatlines. Beyond that point, it's not about more, it's about meaning. So why do we keep chasing? Because society rewards appearances. It tells us to measure ourselves against others, to run faster, climb higher, shine brighter, even if it burns us out. But here's the truth the Stoics knew. You could win every race and still lose yourself. Seneca warned of this when he said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Isn't that the paradox of success? You can own the world and still be enslaved by desire. Or you can own nothing and still be free. But let's be clear, the Stoics were not against ambition. They were not against wealth, achievement, or recognition. What they warned against was making these things the definition of success. Wealth, if used wisely, is a tool. Fame, if handled with humility, can be a platform for good. But none of these define your worth. So, what does success look like in practical terms? For Epictetus, it was freedom of mind. For Marcus, it was living in harmony with nature and reason. For Seneca, it was using time wisely, because time, not gold, is the most precious resource. Think about it. How often do we waste time chasing things that, in the end, don't matter? How often do we sacrifice peace for possessions or trade happiness for hollow victories? Success, redefined by ancient wisdom, is not about having, it's about being. Being disciplined when it's easier to be lazy, being calm when chaos surrounds you, being just when anger tempts you, being grateful when envy whispers in your ear. And here lies the bridge to modern motivation. Studies on grit and resilience by psychologist Angela Duckworth show that talent and IQ matter far less than perseverance. The people who succeed are not always the smartest, but the ones who keep going when others quit. Isn't that exactly what the Stoics taught? That endurance, courage, and discipline outweigh circumstance. Thomas Edison put it this way: genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So, perhaps success is not lightning striking once, but the steady flame of persistence, burning day after day. And yet, persistence without clarity is dangerous. Many persist in chasing the wrong things. That's why the Stoics remind us, ask yourself daily, am I chasing what truly matters? Let's pause. Imagine yourself years from now, at the end of life. What will you count as success? The possessions you owned, or the peace you carried, the applause of strangers, or the love of those closest to you? This reflection is not meant to discourage ambition, but to align it, to ask, are you climbing the right mountain? Because reaching the top means nothing if you scaled the wrong peak. And while we're reflecting on this journey, I'd like to offer a gentle reminder. If you found value in these words, consider subscribing. Not as a favor to us, but as a commitment to yourself. To keep walking this path of wisdom, growth, and self-mastery. Each new subscriber strengthens this community, and together we grow wiser. Now let's keep going. The Stoics practiced what we might call mental affirmations, not empty mantras, but truths repeated until they became part of the soul. Marcus reminded himself each morning that he would meet people who were selfish, deceitful, or cruel. But he chose not to be surprised and not to be shaken. That, too, is success. To meet the day with steadiness, no matter what it brings. Modern affirmations echo this power, saying, I am capable, I am resilient, or my worth is not measured by possessions, may sound simple, but neuroscience shows that repeated positive self-talk rewires neural pathways, reducing stress and improving confidence. The Stoics did not call it neuroscience, they simply called it philosophy, but the principle remains the same. Even today, studies on mindset from Carol Dweck reveal that those with a growth mindset, believing they can improve through effort, outperform those who see ability as fixed. Isn't this exactly what Epictetus meant when he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself"? So, we return again to the question, what does success mean for you? Is it reaching goals, or is it becoming someone who can face life with courage, no matter the outcome? Consider the story of Diogenes, the Cynic philosopher. He lived in poverty, owned almost nothing, and mocked the vanity of wealth. When Alexander the Great asked if he could grant him anything, Diogenes simply replied, "Yes, stand out of my sunlight." The most powerful man in the world was reduced to a shadow before a man with nothing but freedom of mind. Who then was truly successful? Success is not what you think. It is not measured in coins or crowns, but in clarity of soul. It is resilience in hardship, gratitude in abundance, dignity in loss, calm in chaos. And so, as we close this reflection, I'll leave you with one final thought. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Maybe the greatest success is not in extending life, but in using it well. Not in how much we gather, but in how deeply we live. Not in what the world says about us, but in what our conscience whispers when all is quiet. Success is not out there. It is here, within you, in this very moment. So I ask you, what will success mean for you today?